That's minesweep.
I'm starting the webinar so that people can log in.
Put our serious faces on.
I know, everybody behaved, and I'm sorry. And I'll have you know, I was having an extremely serious conversation with Mr. Roberts about history.
All right. I limit those conversations to no more than 2 a day.
And I think that sounded more professional than mine.
Yes, it did.
It actually don't come up,
Oh,
just for the record. But look at me. I mean, girl, like, so.
She's doing good. She's, her orthopedist said at least another 8 weeks.
Super ready for the marathon.
They should move around, go right on the walker.
Yeah, nice. Hey, a friend of mine just had it. See him. And he was walking up the house a couple hours later. Just saying, look at it.
See, I bet he's feeling better already.
He's feeling better already. That's his second one. He said it was his second one, so I knew what to expect. He's already had the other one now.
I've had 2 done myself.
I'm gonna try her best. All right.
So, 7 o'clock.
We just, we need Len. Well,
Eight o'clock.
we're assuming.
I'm here.
All right. Roberts, we're good. Welcome, everyone, to our September 14th town council meeting. Started with our pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence for our men and women serving on.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
One nation,
With
And-
liberty,
indivisible.
and justice for all.
That was a rough one. That was a tough one. We gotta go to mute all. We gotta go to mute all.
If the Vienna Choir Boys sang like that, they'd all be in the audience.
Oh, Lord. Okay, before we get started tonight, just go over a few rules. For those of you participating from home, on your phone, *6 will allow you to mute and unmute. *9 will indicate you can raise your hand. When called upon, please provide your name and address for the clerk. And with that, we will get started with our roll call.
Mr. Jukusa?
Here.
Ms. Abbott?
Here.
Mr. Hamilton?
Here.
Capson?
Here.
Mr. Kelly?
Here,
Dr. Ryan?
Here.
Mr. Aguilar?
Okay. We'll go on to our President's executive summary. Prior to our regular meeting, executive session was held. The first item in executive session was collective bargaining. Under that, there was 1 vote taken, 7-0. The second matter was a matter related to the question of investment of public funds. No votes were taken. And that concludes my executive summary. Okay. Next, we have our consent agenda. We have bills. Bills, I'm sorry.
Motion to approve as presented. Everybody else would have to unmute.
Can I get a second?
Seconded. Sorry.
Thank you. And a second, all those in favor?
Mrs. Jukusa?
Aye.
Abbott?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Capson?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Dr. Ryan?
Aye.
Mr. Aguirre?
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Next, we have minutes from our August 24th. meeting.
Motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Seconded.
Those in favor?
Mrs. Jukusa?
Aye.
Abbott?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Capson?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Dr. Ryan?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Mr. Aguirre?
Aguirre.
Whoever you want.
Aye. On to our town administrator's report. Mr. Rayner.
Good evening, Mr. President, Town Council, ladies and gentlemen. Today marked the first day back at school for most of our Portsmouth students. The school administration has worked very hard to make this possible, and now we must do our parts. If your child feels sick or has any one symptom of COVID-19, you must keep your child home from school. Every day before a child goes to school, you must log on to their Aspen account and complete the daily form which attests to your student's current health status. Additionally, all students must wear a mask at school. Gaiters, bandanas, or masks with valves are not allowed. Additionally, parents of students returning to school after any illness must provide the school nurse with an after illness form which attests to the current health of their student. We continue to monitor the state budget process, or lack thereof, as the financial pressure on Rhode Island cities and towns continues to mount. State education aid are unknown, and many communities have delayed car tax bills as they try to determine whether the phase-out will continue. The decision to postpone the fiscal year 2021 state budget until after November creates even greater uncertainty. The current impact on Portsmouth has not been as great as on other cities and towns who are much more dependent on state aid. Right now, we are getting about 92% of anticipated school state aid. We have not been able to send out motor vehicle taxes as yet. The impact so far has been about $46,000. We anticipate the first and second quarter bills will be combined and the due date extended. The tax assessor is monitoring the situation, and we will keep you informed as of what we think the best course of action will be as the situation unfolds. And obviously, there is an expectation that all the cities and towns will be made whole after the election and a budget is approved, a state budget. Finally, I encourage, with respect to the COVID update, I encourage our residents to get outside and take advantage of all our community and state has to offer while the weather is still enjoyable. The governor is pushing a Take It Outside initiative. Please remember, though, to keep your groups small and wear face coverings. Again, as a reminder, all gatherings must be limited to 15 people or less. Violations are punishable by a fine of up to $500 per person. We should be limiting our circle of contacts to 15 people or less. And mask and covering should be worn when distancing is not possible. More COVID guidance and information can be found on our town website. With respect to the audit, we've received the request list from our auditor. This year's list is quite extensive, as there are over 106 tasks and reports which have to be completed prior to the commencement of the auditor's field work. Field work is scheduled to begin mid-October. The plan is for the auditing team to start with the school department, and then upon completion with the work across the street, they'll turn their attention to the town side. We anticipate completion of the field work just before Thanksgiving. It is with great pleasure that I can report to you the Rhode Island Police Accreditation Commission has informed us that the Portsmouth Police Department has been awarded reaccreditation after a thorough review of the department's standards, policies, and procedures. The accreditation is good for 3 years. I want to congratulate Sergeant Patrick O'Neill, as well as the rest of the police department for achievement of this significant milestone. Also like to remind everybody, and particularly the council, that the annual approved council meeting has been scheduled for Saturday, October 1st, Saturday, October 17th at 9 a.m. The meeting will be held remotely via Zoom. And just prior to the start of the council meeting tonight, I received a call from Senator Jack Reed and Congressman Cicilline informing me that Portsmouth has been awarded $2.24 million with no required match from the town to cover 8 new hires for 3 years for the police department. So congratulations to the police department and to the town of Portsmouth. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay. Moving on, old business, request approval of the American Broadband contract. This was continued from our prior meeting. Is anyone on from American?
Mr. President, Lindsay Jufusa, I would move that we approve the draft of the contract that's been presented, however, with some amendments that I've already discussed with our attorney relating to adding a clause that makes Mr. Schenberger hold the town harmless if any customer sues, as well as possibly including language in the contracts with customers that limit them from pursuing the town for any remedies. And with those amendments, I would move that we approve this draft contract.
A second for discussion.
Right.
I thank Vice President Ujifuza for that addition. I believe it would be appropriate to adjust the paragraph on insurance so that it's clear that such insurance would cover the indemnity that was just proposed. Assurances of holding harmless are meaningless unless you have insurance to cover it. So
These items have already been reviewed with our town solicitor, so yeah, that is excellent addition to our agreement to further, strengthen the town's position.
So just procedurally, Mr. Katzman, is that an amendment to Ms. Ujifusa's motion?
unless Linda wants to adopt it to keep things simple.
I would adopt that suggestion Mr. Katzman just made into my motion.
And then I would second that.
Second on the issue. All those in favor?
Ms. Jukusa?
Aye.
Abbott?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Katzman?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Dr. Ryan?
Aye.
Geiger?
Aye. Passes 7-0.
Mr. President, if I may, I received an urgent text from the police chief informing me, or the fire chief informing me that I said the SAFER grant was for the police. That was actually from the fire department.
Oops.
It was just a test. It was just a test. The police didn't, you noticed that the police didn't say anything.
Yeah, I noticed.
Oh my gosh, Rich, you gave me a heart attack starting your sentence like that.
Yeah.
That there's some kind of urgent message
Urgent.
from the fire department. What? What?
You're home.
I've been handed an urgent and horrifying news bulletin.
The Hindenburg has crashed and burned.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, all right.
Good news.
On to old business number 2. This is approval of an extension of the ordinances suspending.
Not necessarily correctly worded. It was more just a discussion because it is ending today.
Correct.
And I did reach out to Mr. Rayner and also Mr. Talipsky to make sure that our businesses were reminded that it was ending today. And if there are any further hardships of being able to get paper bags that I don't believe is happening anymore, that they should let us know. I have heard of none. So there's no request for an extension. It was just a discussion and making our businesses aware that it was coming to an end and that starting tomorrow, they need to go back to paper bags or reusables.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Hamilton. Yeah, that is our temporary ban or suspension ends tomorrow, so it'll be back to the bags starting tomorrow. Back to the paper bags.
Back to the old normal.
Come on now. All right, let us go. Wow.
Yeah.
On to correspondence. Ooh. Yeah.
Move to receive and place on file.
Second.
Those in favor?
Mrs. Jukusa?
Aye.
Abbott?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Capson?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Dr. Ryan?
Aye.
Mr. Aguilar?
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Okay, on to future meetings. Our next meeting is Wednesday, September 16th. It's our town council street workshop, followed by our September 21st town council meeting, executive session at 6:30. We have September 28th is our next regular town council meeting. October 13th is the town council meeting, which will be on a Tuesday. And then our, as Serena mentioned, October 17th at 9 a.m. will be our Prudence Island Saturday morning meeting. Try to plan accordingly.
Can I ask a question actually about the workshop? Because I've had a couple people ask me already. The workshop this Wednesday, will it be recorded and published online like a normal town council meeting?
It's a regular meeting.
No, it's a workshop.
Workshop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it will.
Okay, because there have been a couple people that said they couldn't make it, but they want to be able to watch it back. And I don't know, I kind of assumed it was, but I wasn't sure. Thank you for clarifying.
I also have a question, Mr. President. When would we have a meeting, or at which meeting would the candidates or the people who are interested in applying for the school committee vacancy be able to appear before the town council?
You have to put the notice in, or is the notice in? We have to, yeah, we have to address that at our next regular meeting, right? We'll put it on the agenda, we'll advertise, and then we'll set a date. And we'll have to do that at our meeting on the 28th.
Okay.
Yeah, the last time you decided to advertise for it and then picked a date after, I think, a week or two getting in resumes, when we had you had the discussion the following meeting.
So just to clarify, on the meeting of September 28th is when we would have that discussion about voting to advertise, et cetera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. And Kelly.
Him, huh?
We have a question from the audience. Good evening.
No, Art said he couldn't get in.
Oh, Art couldn't get in.
I just let him know he was all set.
Well, let me just, this was March just came up. All right.
Just came up here.
We also have a member of the public
Yeah.
hand up.
Yeah, so we're-
I guess there was, Mr. Fitzmaurice, can you hear us?
I can. It's
Sorry about that.
Larry Fitzmaurice, 50 Kristen Court. A question about this vacancy in the school committee. Did the town look into placing this position on the ballot?
No, it's too late. I believe
When was the deadline?
August 5th. August 5th was the deadline for ballot items.
Yeah, this is not a ballot item so much as it is a vacancy. Did we approach the Secretary of State and ask for permission to have it on the ballot?
Who are we going to put on the ballot?
Well, the position would be on the ballot, and
You have to have a
whoever
name
votes
too.
for it, whoever gets the most votes wins. So an open seat could be clearly put on the ballot if we wanted to.
It's
You need
not
somebody
part of the
to
chart. It's not the way the
canvass it.
chart is written.
No, it's,
Now,
there'd be no
the charter
opportunity.
itself- Charter says, you put it on the ballot.
Well,
The charter says
So-
that the
so the
council
answer
replaces
is-
people.
The answer is, which I'm looking for from the council, is that nobody made an effort to investigate putting this position on the ballot. So,
we really can't be discussing this because it's not on our agenda. It was brought up to say, when would we discuss it? So this question could be addressed at our,
well,
Thank you. These are not inappropriate questions to have a discussion around, but we shouldn't discuss it
Yeah,
until
but let me-
September 28th.
let me make the point that I didn't open up the discussion. It was opened up by a member of the council. So I'm responding.
we would address it. The question was, when would we put it on the agenda? And it will be on our regular meeting of September 28th. That was the clarification.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We had a phone call, sorry. Was there a phone call? Oh, Art said he couldn't get in,
Yes.
but we approved Art.
Yes.
All right, so that was everything. We're all set. We need a motion.
Adjourn. I think we already had a motion to adjourn, did we not?
And a second.
And a second.
There was a second.
All those in favor?
Mizuki Fusa,
Aye.
Babbitt,
Aye.
Hamilton,
Aye.
Capson,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Dr. Ryan,
Aye.
Mr. Aguirre.
Aye. Passes. 7-0. Thank you all, and we
See you Wednesday.
see everybody on Wednesday. Thank you.
David, they have
Thank
someone-
you.
Have a good night.